We are back on the Visionary Mindset podcast, and today we have a dynamic duo. We got Nate and Steve. For people that don't know who you are, let's dive in and get to know more about you guys.
Awesome. Matt, thanks for having us. It's been a goal of ours to come down here and record with you, so super excited about that. My name's Steve Riley. I own several million-dollar companies. And on the side, I flip houses and get into some crazy adventures with my boy Nate.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I'm Nate Davis. I've been a realtor for 11 years. I've been investing for about 7 years. And basically, my goal is just to make dreams come true. Steve and I paired up, and we do a lot of shenanigans, and it's been a fun adventure.
Yeah, it's fun watching you guys. So I never actually knew how you guys both met. I know that Steve connected me with you when I was working with you guys, in 2020, but how did you guys actually meet?
Well,
Nate and I knew each other, I'd say, back in high school, right?
Okay.
But I always tell people this, I didn't like Nate.
He's one of many.
I was like, this guy's a douche, bro. I'm not into it. And he probably thought the same about me. We were just young, stupid, crazy. It wasn't until, for me, the Oceanside event that I did at the 1 Hour Work Week, when we had that in Oceanside, Nate had been hitting me up like, hey, I want to connect. Let's get together. We posted that event. He was like, hey, I want in. And it was funny. I charged him full price, right? We weren't like homies. It was like, yeah, you want a ticket? It's X. And then, we got there and we end up overselling the event, and I had nowhere to sleep. So I was like, Nate, I got to sleep with you, bro. So Nate and I split a bed. Didn't even really know him, and we just became friends, right?
You guys became real close.
Yeah. That trip was like the moment where we were like, you're dope. You're not the guy that you used to be.
Yeah.
And we have a ton in common, and we think alike. We're going to do some damage.
That's cool. That's super cool.
I think probably in high school we were a lot more alike than we wanted to admit. Both highly competitive, athletic. I was a little bit of an asshole, so I probably was a douche.
Did you guys both go to the same school?
No, we went to different schools, but we had a lot of people, that we were connected through. There was a lot of friction, I think, over the years. But our paths had crossed, at various stages. He connected me with you, years back. And with him being in construction and me being in real estate, I think it was natural that we would, connect more and more. But yeah, Oceanside was, kind of the launching point to, where we are now. It was interesting because I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, I think I want to go to this event. And Steve's like, dude, you should come. Like, I really think that you would benefit from coming. I'm like, all right. I guess I'll go. My wife was like, you should definitely go. And this was like, I had never done anything like this before. I'm pretty frugal, believe it or not. And I don't like spending money. And that was the first time I had paid to go somewhere like that. And sure as shit, I pay and I got to sleep in a bed with the guy that's running the show. I couldn't believe it, but it was fine. It was actually probably better that way because we had the ability to chat and really get to know where each other's goals are. And that was something that, had I not gone on that trip, definitely wouldn't happen.
It's funny, though, because, like, when we started hanging out on that event, it was like we had been homies forever.
Yeah,
right?
That's how it felt. I thought you guys were, like, pretty close
that was
already
that was our first date, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, Nate and I talk about that all the time of, like, where would we be right now if we didn't meet at that event?
Yeah.
Right? And for a lot of people, I mean, the ticket to go was like $1,000, right? And a lot of people were like, is it worth it? Well, I know that you went. It was so worth it just for the atmosphere and everything that was there. But the relationships, Nate and I connecting with the people that were at that event, the return has been huge financially for the relationships that we've built.
Well, you guys had a deal with Luis out in Vegas, right?
Yeah, and we're doing more things with Luis in the coming months. Yeah. So, love Luis. Shout out Luis.
Shout out Luis.
but it's crazy how that day was, or that event was like our first time together, but it's like we've been kicking it.
Yeah.
And literally, what year was that, Nate? Was that 22?
That was last year, yeah.
That was
22?
yeah, it was last year. Yeah.
So I remember in 2020, and this is a funny story I've never even told Nate, but I had to go give a bid to a job that it was a house that Nate was flipping, and he needed an estimate on his roof. And I remember going like, I fucking don't want to fucking talk to this
Deal
guy.
with him.
I don't want to do. I was like, I don't fucking like him. And then I like meet him, and I'm like, oh, you're not that bad anymore. But I was like, eh. And then we started kind of talking, and we had made a bet, and we were kind of cool. And I was like, you know what? Nate's not that bad anymore. Like, he's not the kid he was. But then we never, like, we were associates, I'd guess, but we never had that connection. And then literally, we went on that trip.
Yep.
And then ever since that trip, we just started going on all kinds of adventures.
Yeah.
Right, and getting into all kinds of things.
Yep.
You know, and so it's a trip. I always tell people, like, get out. Like, if there's an event or if there's a place that you can go.
Yeah.
Like, go meet people, go try the experiences. I mean, the amount of flights Nate and I have been on together. I mean, I've flown more with him than anyone else in my entire life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, last year I think I took like 60 flights.
Yeah.
What?
And half of them were at least with Nate.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least
Damn.
more if you count just the one ways, because sometimes we would get diverted to
Different things.
different things. But so definitely have to go to the events, put yourself out there,
Yep.
make those connections. You literally are one relationship away from changing your life.
I definitely think that, my wife pushed me into it because I was like,
On the edge.
I think I could probably go and I might find some value. But I underestimated what could, come of the relationships that I would eventually form, from that event. I met Ed, I met Luis, I met Gerardo, I met, a personal banker at Chase Bank who has helped me, get lines of credit. I started this, relationship with Steve.
Yeah, Jordan's dope. Shout out to Jordan.
Jordan's awesome. I wasn't going to say his name, but there we go. So you just never know. And sometimes it's taking that risk. For some people, it might be a lot of money, in different circumstances. But the return on that money is going to be exponential.
More often than not. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've never lost on an investment of network.
Yeah.
Or going.
It comes
going
back
to
around
any of
somehow.
the events. Like
It might.
I paid Ryan Pineda $5,000 to play golf with him when I first met him.
That's right.
That $5,000 made me $300,000
Yeah.
in that few months just there, and then it continued to make me more.
Yep.
There's a guy flying out to play golf with us this weekend that I met through golf with Ryan, and have made amazing relationships. And I remember at that time, like that was 2021. I was like, damn, 5,000.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm putting it on a credit card.
Yeah.
Run it.
Yeah.
And then it was like 5,000 and get back $500,000.
Because some people just think, oh, I'm just going to go play around a golf, come back, and be out $5,000.
Yeah, it was zero golf. Like the golf,
Yeah.
the golf was just a thing. It was like the network and the day and the. I remember I had a difficult problem I was dealing with, and I just said it to Ryan, and he's a very logical guy.
Mm-hmm.
Took him like 4 seconds. He gave me the answer, and I was like, why didn't I just? I was like, duh. Why didn't I think of that? This isn't even that hard.
Yeah.
This was the answer, and it
was worth $5,000.
The answer made me $250,000.
Yeah, see?
And I was
answer.
struggling with it. It was a big thing for me, and I was just like, I was kind of embarrassed to even ask Ryan, like, hey, what would you do here? And I told him, and he's just like getting out of the golf cart and spit the answer and kept going on. And I was like, oh my God, I am not where I need to be mentally.
Yeah.
Is there any answers that you want to share that maybe any advice that he gave you that helped you?
Oh man, there's a lot, but I'd say first thing he told me was, actually I learned this from the guy I was riding in the cart with when I met Ryan, and it was success leaves the path, pay attention, right? So that was one of the biggest things that stuck with me that day.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking with Ryan, it wasn't what he said, but it was how he moved, how he dealt with everything that he has going on around him, and how he's able to keep a level head and build a solid company of people that trust and believe in him to do the things. Like I asked him, on like the third hole, I'm like, hey, I was like, you haven't even touched your phone, and I haven't been able to put mine down.
Mm.
And you make a lot more money than me,
Yeah,
and you have a
yeah.
lot more going on.
Yeah.
He said, Steve, I don't pay people to bug me. I pay them so I can go play golf and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
If I have to think and worry and you have to call me every second, you're not the person for the job. Right. So he said, I only hire, his thing is I hire from the top down. Right. And so when I went out there, my question to him was, what do I need to change in my business to get to that? And he's like, Steve, you need a COO.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. I was thinking I needed, an assistant or something. He said, no, you need to hire a top level position. You need to pay him a lot of money. And so the day I got back, I did that.
Damn.
Yeah. Which I promoted Rachel, who's in my office, who's amazing.
Yep.
She now runs the company. And now she gets bothered if I'm being bothered. Yeah. Right. And she wants to take it on. So that was the biggest thing that I learned initially. Just seeing him move, seeing him be so calm and free and being able to think and work on his stuff without being bothered by, hey, this client doesn't want to pay.
Yep. Right.
Or, hey, there's an issue with this, or this guy didn't show up to work.
Yep.
He's like, I have multiple people that are supposed to deal with that before it gets to me. If it gets to me, someone didn't do their job.
Yeah, that's a drastic.
So I was on that trip with Steve, actually. Steve goes, hey, I'm going to go play golf. Do you want to come to Vegas with me? I'm going to go play with Ryan Pineda. There's a dinner after. I'll try to see if maybe I can get you on at the dinner. And I was like, I guess I'll go. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. So I was just walking the Vegas Strip in 115 degrees.
In pants.
While Steve, is off golfing with Ryan. But I will say, after they got done with their round of golf, Steve got back to the room and he was like, the way that Ryan handles himself and how he answers things like this with conviction and just moves on. Yeah. That's how he's able to operate at high efficiency, right? He's very effective at what he does because he doesn't take time and get decision fatigue, right? He just makes a decision and moves on.
Right.
And that was one of the things that Steve said, like pretty much immediately when I was like, how was your day? That was one of the biggest things that, I think he took away from it too. From my perspective.
I work to implement that every day still. Like it's the number one thing I think about.
Yeah. He tells me all the time, Nate, just make a decision.
You got to move faster.
Yeah.
Just give the logical response and move on. Right. And so I've been trying to instill that into my teams. We have 50 employees over the companies that we own. And I've been trying to show them and teach them, make the logical, quick answer and move on. Stop getting so emotional and wrapped up and tied into it and thinking about the worst case, whatever's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just make decisions and move and keep stacking those bricks, right, to keep building. Just keep moving through it. And that right there has allowed me to exponentially grow my efficiency of what I can get done, right? Yeah. A lot of people, if they looked at the to-do list or the things I have to do in a day, they would just, their head would explode.
Yeah.
And I get it done before lunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I said something the other day. I don't know if it was to Steve or somebody else. I was like, I probably get more done by lunch than most people will get done in 2 or 3 days, just because of the way that people operate. They block their time poorly or they don't block their time at all. And so they're not efficient. And, people like Steve and I, we get our stuff done and move on.
Yeah. So has it kind of made you closer with your team? Like, do you kind of feel more invested in them kind of with?
I think it's your team starting to believe in you. That's what you really want.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be a leader that your team can follow and that they believe in. So that way when you make decisions, it's not a bunch of second guesses and doubts. Your people will move. Right? And if they have great ideas, and this is another thing I learned from Ryan, he's so open to his team's opinions. And I didn't realize that. I was thinking, this is what he's going to say. This is what they're going to do. And, the first things that we would do when I started working with Ryan is he would have these meetings, what they call a level 10 meeting with all his high people. And he'd be saying things and someone would give a suggestion that might be completely different. And he's like, you know what? That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Go do that.
Yep.
It wasn't like, hey, I'm the boss. You listen to me.
Right. It's only my way.
Yeah. The table was so open. And I was like, wow. I didn't realize he was going to do that. When that person said that, I'm like, oh, man, he's going to smack him down. And he was like, yeah, that's actually a way better idea than what I said.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What else do you think? And people were openly giving ideas. And he's like, I don't care He's like, I don't want to have to come up with everything.
Yeah.
If I have to come up with everything, I'm so tired at the end of the day. I have great people here. I would love your ideas. You guys see the business every day. What do we need to change? What do we need to implement? How can we be better? Tell me, or just go do it, because you're doing it for the best of the company.
Yeah.
And I believe in my people. So when you express those values and you do them in front of people, that shift where your employees start believing and trusting and they feel like they have worth, that's the sweet spot.
The game changer.
And so I know when I spent 7 months working in Ryan's office in 2022. And when I came back, to my normal companies full time, all of my people were like, you're different. Like, wow. And it was because I saw somebody at a level that I wanted to get to, how they operated and how they, built their team and how they moved. And I'm a sponge. If you put me around something like that, it was funny because by the end of the thing, I had Ryan mannerisms. And I was talking to my buddy Taylor who works there, and he's like, I was telling him about it, and he's like, bro, that's so funny. And it's just, I was so focused on, if he's doing it, I can do it.
Yep.
How is he doing it? How does he move? How does he respond? How does he use his time? Right? How does he have his team set up so he's the most efficient?
So when are you gonna dye your hair orange?
Trust me, I thought about it. Well, he did a reel yesterday.
I saw that one.
That was literally like, it was the best decision I ever made to dye my hair.
Right.
It just exploded his
Yeah,
social
I think
media.
I've seen him post something about it because everybody just starts questioning like, oh, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? And then you just get so much traffic to his his reels and pages.
Well, and it's memorable, right?
Yeah.
So when somebody sees somebody with some wacky hair and they have valuable content, bam, they're going to be ingrained in your memory.
Yeah.
And so you're going to know who that guy was.
Yeah.
But like I said, that started from a $5,000 golf that evolved into a friendship and a mentorship of being able to be around him. And I text him right now if I have a difficult situation. And it's great. So I always encourage people, if you get the opportunity to be around somebody that's where you want to be, or that's chasing after stuff that you want to chase, spend the money, spend the time, get around them, get in front of them, because you'll regret not doing it.
Yep.
You won't regret spending the $5,000.
Yep.
We'll do a deal that makes us 5 times that in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can't spend $5,000 to go change my life and change the people. Like, I have 50 employees.
Right.
I can't go learn to get better to change their life, then I'm letting them down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So going back to you guys, so since you guys got closer from the event that we had last year, you guys have been working together a lot recently, is what I've seen. That's why I called you guys the dynamic duo, because you guys are just out there doing so much. So do you guys want to share about kind of what you guys are working on right now, and maybe some crazy stories and projects that you're working on?
There's a crazy story from every day probably that we could tell.
Yeah.
The
beauty is you just never know.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to call us or what deal is going to fall in that, I text Nate the other day and I'm like, hey, or he texts me, hey, that house that you've been looking at finally hit the market. Do you want to go look at it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wake up, and I wake up and I could have A, B, and C on my plan list for the day, and it's kind of a running joke in my house. My wife's always like, "What's your day look like?" And I have to say, I have no idea, babe, because I genuinely don't know what my day is going to hold. I don't know, what properties I'm going to go to. I mean, obviously, I have clients that I might have to meet or whatever, but with Steve, I've got no clue what we're going to be doing. That particular day, that property went on the market, and we were there within a few hours.
It's funny though, because Nate's like, I have dinner in 2 hours, but if you can head here right now, he's like, I'll make it work. And literally I'm 50 minutes away. Like, he's got dinner, but we know you got to strike fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And we've been watching this deal, for a while, waiting for it to come available so that we can see if we can make a move. And then we go there, and then I don't even know. I had to end up driving him to dinner. I think they started eating, and we got there because we get there, and we're analyzing the deal, and we have a blast.
Yeah.
We're starting to think about what are we going to do. here. What does that look like? We're, putting all the pieces
Which
together.
one was this?
This was the convertible house. The one
The
where
dollhouse
the
with the
dollhouse
clowns?
with the clowns.
Oh,
so
geez.
so this house, it was a doll museum, right? Is what it was used for. And last winter, the snow load collapsed the roof, and it ruined, I would say, half of the building.
Yeah.
And so it's just been sitting there open, getting weather in there for quite some time.
Oh my gosh.
And we've driven past it a bunch of times, and Steve has been like, I want that building.
Yeah.
And
We'd be sitting in the parking lot across the street trying to finalize another deal, and I'm just looking out the window like, Nate,
When is that one going?
I want to buy that. Look up, pull the shit up for this.
So can you just put a notification on when it goes
No,
onto the market, or
no,
you just keep
I'm
an eye
on there constantly. So like
Yeah.
I'm constantly looking for deals.
But we can get anyone's information.
Yeah, I mean I could get
if we see a property and know the address, we can skip trace and get the information and go about it ourselves.
Right.
I can't necessarily always get all that info because I'm not a realtor.
Yeah.
If you need a great realtor, Nate Davis.
Yeah.
But I'm always telling him, it's funny because Nate will say, Steve, I have other things to do than look up properties for you all day.
There was a video that was on Instagram the other day, and we were driving from a property that we actually ended up ultimately buying. And Steve was like, what are you doing? I just analyzed this deal in my head in 10 minutes. And I said, well, I'm a professional and I do it a certain way. And I can't just sit around and analyze deals for Steve Riley all day because I have other people that rely on me. I've got clients. And he's like, it's kind of a running joke.
It's funny. Yeah. It's funny.
But we have a lot of different things that we've been working on. We've been getting a lot of deals that are coming to us off market. From people that see what we're doing on social media, and because I've been a realtor for so long, I have a great relationship with a bunch of other agents, and so they're bringing us off-market deals, clients that have agreed to sell their property before hitting the market. So we have the ability to go in and potentially snag it at a deep discount before it ever hits the MLS. So that's been helpful for sure.
Are you guys just mainly focused on Placerville, El Dorado County area right now, or are you just open to?
Bro, I think
Nate
was
expand?
analyzing a deal in New York this morning.
I
Lord.
think the borders of where we're comfortable have expanded to the outside of the United States.
Yeah,
right?
I was looking at a Florida deal.
Was that Vegas one? Was that the furthest one that you guys had done?
That was that condo that you flipped.
Yeah, that's the furthest one we've done is Vegas. But things have been moving so fast that we now have a list of people, and it's being added to every day of people that are emailing us and texting us deals.
That's awesome.
And Adam, my assistant, I'm like, we're working, and he texts Nate and I in the group chat, Stop sending so many fucking deals to our email address. Excuse my language, but just tons of opportunities are coming in to the point where it's like, damn, it's like a full-time job to review these people's deals. So we got to pick and choose. But
yeah,
the cool thing about what we're doing is we're not like a cookie cutter, right? It's multifaceted for what we can do. Like, we have deals that we're looking at right now for commercial buildings.
Yeah.
We're looking at several businesses to buy. We're looking at event space properties and Airbnbs. We're looking at multifamily Section 8 conversions. We're looking at it all.
Yeah.
If there's a deal, we have so many connections. We have so much access to money that if there's a deal, we can make it happen.
Yep.
Right? And so when you have that, when you have all these networks starting to funnel things to you, you get to pick the beautiful, great things that, Nate posted one the other day, like, this might be the most impactful deal we've ever done, which is, the preschool that we're trying to get involved with.
Yeah. Well, and it helps that you got the construction company and he's got the real estate license.
Yeah.
It's like a
That's how we can analyze a deal in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He literally, by the time we get there, we already know.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes in, we're like, I could just look at Nate and know if we're buying it.
Yeah.
I don't have to say a word.
And
then I know we go good cop, bad cop.
So you obviously have pushback from other people, and you're like, no, we know what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, I try not to, push my weight around like, hey, I'm one of the top agents in the area, have been for a really long time. And Steve, has owned a construction company and a roofing company for a really long time. We're not new to this.
Yeah.
Just because you believe this is the value, that doesn't make it true.
In the remodel cost assumption,
Yeah.
right? I can do that in 30 seconds. Just walking the house, I know, because I've estimated thousands of jobs.
Many. Yeah.
And we've been flipping for years. A lot of people don't know like the surprises of a flip, the unknowns, or what that actually entails, right? Nate was talking to a guy yesterday that was completely out of his mind for remodel cost.
Yeah.
And, knowing what an actual remodel is going to cost, knowing what our people are going to charge us, because all of the people who work on our stuff are people that we've developed relationships with. We already know what they charge.
Yeah.
We already know what the unknowns are. I know what involves that. So Nate can assume what the house is worth, the area, what he's going to list it for. He can get the full evaluation of what that's worth, and I don't second guess him. I know he's solid with it.
One time he second guessed me
Which one?
in Pollock Pines.
Oh, yes. But I got him a trophy. After that.
There was a house that I was going to flip, and Steve was like, I wouldn't touch this deal. It came back to us, and
Well, tell him how it came back.
Steve found this deal on social media
Okay.
While I was on the toilet.
while he was on the toilet.
That's
Okay.
the
and,
best
and
part.
I was at the gym, and Steve calls me. I just remember it was like a Friday afternoon or something.
What do you want?
And Steve's like, bro, I was just taking a shit, and I found this house. Isn't this the house you were going to buy? I said, yeah, actually it is. And so he started negotiating the deal. And we go up, we look at it. This guy had started the remodel and got scared because winter was coming. And, this was a house in snow country.
A guy that doesn't know what he's doing. He's way over his head.
Way over his head. The guy is an amateur. He's, anyways.
Wants to be a flipper, but so scared to even do anything that he just spins around in circles.
Yeah.
So
Right?
we end up negotiating a deal, playing good cop, bad cop. I typically end up being the bad cop, which doesn't always help because the guy I think now hates me.
Nate only becomes the bad cop because he starts off as the bad cop. He just comes in like that, and I have to quickly defuse the
You're
bomb.
gonna make a deal or what?
Nate, we want this house. Like, this guy's gonna
piss him
fight
off,
you.
yeah.
He's very uncomfortable around you, Nate.
So anyways, we end up getting the house.
At a better deal than what Nate was gonna buy it for when I told him to pass.
So
Don't leave that key out.
Yeah.
fast forward, I give him the valuation on what I think the deal was going to be worth, and he doubted me, and we sold it for $40,000 more than I initially said. So $40,000 more, because when I'm looking at
killed it.
numbers, I'm conservative, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
Price
overproject
too
and then
high.
get screwed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there's always going to be more construction costs and unforeseen things that pop
It
up.
was the middle. Dude, there was like 3 feet of snow when we bought this house.
Yeah, we didn't even know what the yard looked like. We didn't know how much junk was in the
It was
yard
covered by 3 feet of snow.
because there was 3 feet of snow there.
Oh my.
So I mean, we had a contingency,
and it had no
budget.
heater in the house. We had to get the heater installed just so the people could work.
But the whole key here is that I sold the house for $40,000 more than Steve thought that we could get for it, and so
That's huge.
from then on,
Like 70,000 more than I honestly thought it was worth.
Gee.
He listed it higher than I thought. I thought we were gonna make just a little bit on the house. And Nate's like, "Nah, bro, we're listing it for this." And I'm like, "If we get that, holy shit!" For first day on the market, first person to see the house,
only person to see the house.
40 over asking.
Right away. So you sold it right away to
Yes.
that person.
Yeah, one
Yes.
person,
Wow.
first day. Guy went and looked at it, full price. Actually, no, 40,000 over.
We made
Damn.
$92,000 profit on that house using $0 of our own money in the middle of winter in a snow-covered house
Yeah,
on a deal that somebody else didn't think that they could, finish because they were in over their head. So
That's wild.
yeah.
That is
So I
wild.
told him, I said, "You are the Pollock Pines whisperer."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we've done multiple deals there now, but he definitely. That's why I was like, but that was our first deal together.
It was it.
That was
So
our
what was
first
that? When
flip.
was that?
that was earlier this year.
That was earlier this year. Yeah.
Okay.
So like we had been talking about deals together and we had looked at a handful, but that was the first one where we actually made the purchase.
We've gone 0 to 100 in this relationship.
Yeah. I mean, we went
real fast.
I mean, we met and we slept in the same bed the same first night, you know?
No, this is the funniest part of the trip. Nate always says, he's like, I remember the first day or the second day, he's like, hey, Steve, I'm going to go up to the room and take a nap. You know, letting me know in case you need anything, I'm going to be sleeping. I said, you know, that sounds good. I'm going to go too.
Dude, strangest shit ever.
Went and took a nap with him.
because I take a nap almost every day. So that's just normal
2
for
p.m.
me. Yeah. And I was tired. And I mean, there's a group full of people. You were there. We were at a big mastermind. But I was like, I'm going to go upstairs and take a nap. I definitely didn't
I might have been there.
We were up till like
where is
3
Nate and
talking
Steve? They're
with
like,
Ed.
oh, they're in the bed upstairs.
That's because we were up talking to Ed, drinking whiskey till like 3 in the morning.
I was not drinking whiskey. I was just there. But yeah, that was
awesome.
funny.
So if you guys are doing all these deals, are you kind of like steering away from residential real estate a little bit more now, or?
I wouldn't say that for sure. The last time that I looked at the numbers, I was in the top 15 in the county still in sales. I've just been able to find a way to manage my time in a manner that, you know, allows me to do all the things.
Yeah.
Real estate is a little bit slower right now than it has been over the last handful of years. So, you know, that's probably a little bit of, you know, giving me a little bit more time. But I was actually surprised when I looked at the numbers, you know, not too long ago.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday.
I asked
You
him
guys are always
yesterday
looking at
because
the numbers.
I have an idea. I love to watch his deals and listen, you know, and follow his listings and stuff. I find it exciting.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, he's probably done like X this year. And he told me his number and he tried not to smile of how much he sold. And I'm like, part-time?
So
People don't sell that in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's definitely been working part-time, right? Because when you get to a certain level, it's not that it's part-time. It's when you get good and you know what you're doing, you can pick the clients,
Yeah.
right? And Nate's a realtor who doesn't sacrifice his price, right? Like he charges you for his value.
Yeah.
And a lot of people learn during the process and after why it was worth it and why they shouldn't have reduced the commission and went with someone that was, you know, quotations cheaper.
Right.
So he has the luxury to work with who he wants, right? He doesn't have to go into a deal that's extremely overpriced or they don't want to make a deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they just don't mesh with you, you know? You don't have to work
it's
with
just
people
like,
that
hey,
are just aren't.
Here's a good realtor that might work for you, or, you know, thank you for your time. You know, and I think by doing that, and I'm speaking for Nate because this is my observation, I think that it has allowed him to make more with less hassle.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems, I know he's always like trying to push because that's how we are. Like, I want to do more. I got to get, you know, there's a lot of people that reach out to him on Instagram that are like, hey, I want you to sell my house or help me buy a house. And he can't get to everybody.
Yep.
Right. But I think that it's just nature to push hard. But I think the quality of his work and his professionalism is allowed him to make more doing less.
Yep.
And that's where you want to be, because now he's got time to pick up his daughter from gym, right? Go on a family vacation, and still make a lot of money.
Well, and doing these deals, I'm sure, is a lot more hands off than taking a listing. Right, with the client.
Yeah, for sure. I still enjoy all aspects, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you ask that question because twice this week I had somebody, you know, and then even yesterday with Steve, you know, being a little bit surprised that I've been able to do the volume that I've done this year in a slow market while, you know, analyzing.
I wouldn't have guessed it with 3. If you gave me 3 chances, and I've been there for every deal. I know his listings on the market. I'm like, hey, how's that one going?
Yeah.
And I
You
was
could
like,
probably
there's no
add
way
it up
they
a little
added
bit.
to that. But then you started thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. But you know, I've just been able to be efficient with my time, and I've been very, you know, fortunate to be able to make it look easy or, you know, sound, you know, smooth when in my head I just know how to avoid catastrophes, and I don't take clients typically anymore that I look at, you know, who they are, what their goals are, and if they aren't aligned with what my goals are, I'm just not going to take them. I'm going to pass them on to somebody, you know, that can give them the time that they need, and still, you know, have a good result.
Yeah, because you're pretty upfront now with your clients, probably about, you know, setting expectations.
And the
straight.
realtors too. Like Nate has to coach realtors on a daily basis. It's crazy because we We drive in the car so much together that I get to hear some of the calls, and I'm like, how are these people licensed realtors?
Yeah.
Like,
they're asking you questions all the time.
They're asking Nate, hey, Nate, what's this form?
Yeah.
You know, how do I sign it? How should I reword this to my seller? You know, and he's literally having to coach them, and I'm like, whoa.
Like, I feel bad for
I've never been up front like this, and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's just levels above them. Yeah. They don't know the game, and I think one of my favorite things for Nate the other day was this agent was like, Nate, I have a deal. I was selling their house. It's over my head. I gave them your info. They're going to go with you. I need you to sell it for them. They'll pay your price, like whatever. He just walked into a deal because the person dealt with him once and knew he doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, I don't talk about that a lot, to be completely honest, because, you know, I feel like there's a little bit of a level of, you know, professionalism that I want to keep.
That's why I said it. Sorry.
And it's unfortunate from, you know, the public perspective. They don't see what I know. And now what Steve's been, you know, the curtains have been pulled back a little bit because Steve's with me so much.
Yeah.
All they see is whatever somebody might be putting out on social media or whatever. Right. And it truly is difficult dealing with some of these other people that, you know, the perception is that they're really good at their job when the reality is they're really shitty. And it makes my job a whole hell of a lot harder because, you know, if they can't do their job right, I have to do two jobs while still dealing with my clients and try to coach them on how to coach their clients to get a deal to the finish line. And it's not just one deal.
I had no idea it was like that.
It's not just one agent. It's a lot of agents. And I think a lot of that was because so many people got into the industry, you know, after COVID.
Yep.
And they don't really know how to navigate deals that aren't just seamless and easy and 50K over list and no matter what happens, they're going to close the deal.
Yep.
Now that, you know, the market has transitioned back to more of a typical market, these agents have no clue how to navigate, you know, the ebbs and flows of a real true transaction. So luckily, you know, I was in this before that happened. I saw it, you know, through there and now on the other side of this, I know how to navigate a lot of that. And I've been lucky enough to do real estate for long enough to develop the relationships that have gotten me here. And now I'm kind of branching out to all these other, you know, things and shenanigans with my good friend Steve.
So, yay! You guys are awesome. So going into what kind of habits do you guys have you guys developed in the last few years, and any habits that you would you know, give advice for people in their business or in their personal life?
So here's our newest one. We now wake up at 4:30.
4:30.
Yeah.
Was that just a hard transition? Just
you know, let me tell you how that came about. You know, I was at the dentist, and I was talking to my dentist about his routine. He's super successful, and he's like, "Yeah, I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm at the gym at 4:30. I work out for an hour." Then I come straight to the office. I work here for an hour. I go home, get my kids up, take them to school, and then I come back, and then I work, you know, 12 hours. And I was like, man, you're really going after it. And he goes, yeah, the only way you're going to outwork me is if it's you and Nate Davis combined. And I'm sitting there with his hand in my mouth, and I'm thinking,
should have bit his finger.
I'm thinking, what? I got to go back to work. Like, I just got challenged. He just flat out said it. The only way you're outworking me is if it's you and Nate Davis combined.
Ooh,
and I was like, challenge accepted.
That almost offended me a little bit, and I don't even know the guy.
Yeah,
right.
My dentist is amazing.
Me, but.
His name's Ben Dow. He's amazing, the best dentist I've ever had, and he's so disciplined. You know, it's just like with Ryan Pineda. Ryan Pineda is up early every morning, has his routine. He's so disciplined. And so the biggest thing to answer your question that I can recommend to people is be disciplined about your actions and what you do, because it's the confidence that it builds within yourself of not lying to yourself. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym today and then I don't. Oh, because of this. Like, we lie to ourselves all the time. Mm-hmm. Stop lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. Start taking action and being disciplined. And when you start getting that self-confidence, it just amplifies everything else in your life. Yep. And I remember, you know, this week I was so pissed off and motivated from my dentist. I didn't even set my alarm. I was ready to just stay up all night, right? I was like, I'm going to, and so I didn't set my alarm. I went to bed. I just told myself, wake up at this time and, let's go do it. So I woke up and the first thing I did was text my dentist, good morning. He hasn't texted me back, but I texted him good morning. And then I texted him when I left the office that night at 7:30. So, up at like 4, I literally rolled out of bed, walked to the living room, got on my laptop and just started getting it. Yep. Right. So this isn't for a lot of people. I'm a sicko, right? Yeah. I like to work. Yeah. I like to go hard. 100%. I want to push. I want to see the next level of me. Yeah. That person provides a lot of things for a lot of people, right? A lot of people make money with me, from me. A lot of people get a paycheck from stuff that I build, and they rely on it. And so that next version of me I want to get to, I'm excited to meet him. Yeah. And so that's why I text my dentist good morning. And
4:30 Steve now.
At the end of the day, I text him, first day completed. How are you feeling? He hasn't texted me back.
Oh, no.
He hasn't texted me back. I get to see him next week. But,
that's amazing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And then we did it the next day. And the next day, Nate joined me. And he woke up and said, it's time to be great. Nice. Because that time, 4 a.m., 4:30 till, 6:37 when I used to wake up.
That's still pretty
good. A lot of productivity.
6:30 is still pretty
good. I'm
smashing. I'm smashing awesome. Through it, right? And it allows me to get more done when my kids are sleeping, so I don't have to take time from them, right? Like coming home late or, I still did work till 7:30 that day, but that was just for a point. I mean, Adam and I are generally at the office late anyway. Like I said, I'm a sicko. Yeah. I like to work.
So when do you wind down usually?
What's a wind down?
There is no
wind down.
What's a wind down?
When do you sleep? When do you close your eyes?
When I'm done.
Yeah, like for real.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when Steve and I first, started this partnership, I've been an early riser for a very long time. I've gone through different cycles of, waking up really early, going to CrossFit at 5 a.m. and then starting my day from there. Which was its own, beast, and I was tired all the time because, that was just hard. But Steve would be texting me late at night, and I wake up early, and I'm like, I gotta stay up just to answer his questions. This is difficult for me, right? And I had to start refraining from texting him early in the morning because I knew he was still asleep. And it was funny the other day because on his, first day of this new journey, he texted like 7 paragraphs to me, and it was like 4 something in the morning. I get this fucking text message that I have to scroll while I'm reading it, and it's all the things that we've been working on and things that we needed to talk about. And I think he might have seen what I have been doing for so long, because you wake up early and you have the ability and the clarity.
It's this exact reason I did it.
100%. I knew it, but. You have that clarity. You don't have the distractions. You can kind of hammer out a bunch of different tasks early in the morning before your family is distracting you, before your emails are going off, before the world is awake. You've already gotten hours of productivity. But I definitely smiled the other day when I saw this novel come through my cell phone at 4:30 in the morning. But the disciplines that I've instilled over the last handful of years to help my productivity is my diet and exercise, are super important to stay disciplined in that, because I can tell with my mindset and how my body feels where my productivity is going to lie. Adam and Steve recently have seen me kind of getting back to that, and I can tell the shift in my mindset already, from getting back consistently to eating right, exercising regularly. I'm just way better at everything that I do. 100%.
Especially when you do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Here's a simple task for people, and I taught my assistant this when he first started. I have several notebooks that I keep in front of me, and I've got today's to-do list, right? And so every day I'm writing out the stuff that I have to do, which on the other page, on the other notebook, is yesterday's to-do list and all the cross-offs and stuff that was added. Yeah. I don't keep working on that page, right? I do a clean page. And then I've got another page of all of the goals, like the things that I'm trying to build and put into the companies, and the personal stuff that I want to do. But then I've got my action list, right? And setting discipline to get your list done. Yeah. right? And mowing it down and not allowing the distractions.
Yep.
Right? Like if you've done a Zoom call with me, and some of my friends that are listening or watching this are going to laugh. If you've done a Zoom call with me, I'm probably eating.
All the time. Every time.
Right? It's because I'm doing a task. I can't get up to eat until it's done.
Yeah.
And by the time it was done, the Zoom call was ready. So my assistant's bringing me lunch, and I'm throwing it down during the call because I can't sacrifice the time.
Yep.
Right? It's not for everybody, but simple task. Make a to-do list of the things that you have to get done. Like, stop putting it off. Don't have notes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Have one thing that you look to that's in front of you every day that has your to-do list that you need to get done to move forward.
Yep. That's
the biggest thing. And from there, you start building teams of people that start doing it. And then you, as a group, you're getting so much done. Right? And all we need to do as a team, as a company, as a community is move forward every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're getting those things done, we're moving forward. And by the end of the few weeks, months, you look back and you're like, oh my God, look how far we've come.
Mm-hmm. And do the hardest task first. Right?
Just do a task.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
You know, I do put the fires at the top.
Yeah.
Right? I do put the fires at the top. But there's nothing better than having a to-do list done that you devoted today to accomplish.
Oh yeah, you get all those check marks. You're like,
oh
man, that feels good.
That feels good.
For Steve's new self, he gets something special at the end of the week when he's been able to accomplish all his stuff.
What, my cheat day?
Yeah.
Well, I changed my diet dramatically too.
Okay.
Right, so it wasn't just waking up at 4 a.m. It's my diet's drastically changed. I cut out all sugar. I used to be a big candy snacker, like at the desk eating chocolate, Skittles.
Yeah.
You know, always running around with like something to snack on. I was always eating.
Yeah.
Something sweet.
So no sugar at all.
I mean,
very minimal.
I'm eating a lot of fruit, right? So tons of fruit.
Yeah.
Stopped drinking anything that's not just wine, drinking red wine only.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never do dairy. I've always cut out dairy. I don't do fried foods anyway. I don't do red meat. So my diet sucks. For some people, they're like, how the hell do you eat anything? But to me, it's like, I like chicken and rice.
Yeah.
I like chicken and
rice.
rice.
Not that complicated. Give me some turkey or some chicken.
I could eat that all day, every day.
Yeah.
Teriyaki chicken and rice.
Yeah.
Or like some grilled chicken wings.
Yep.
I'm good. I love sauce. I'm all about the sauce.
I'm a sauce guy.
Like hot sauce, tangy sauce.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a sauce guy.
Yeah.
But
no dry chicken.
Nate's been a big encouragement for me to get my diet changed, because while I was going through my my just terrible eating, junk food.
Oh yeah.
You know, growing up, I had an amazing metabolism. It didn't matter what I ate, when I ate, and I had endless energy. Well, now that I'm 35, I feel it. It shows, right? I remember I was talking with Nate, and I kept looking to the side, and I'm like, I feel like I have like a second chin for me. I was like, I feel restriction when I turn my head. I was like, this shit gotta go. And then I went and did a bunch of blood work and gene testing for 10X. Ryan had Cardone in the office, and they came back and they're like, Steve, like, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Damn.
You're deficient in these certain things, and like, you have to make some changes. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Like, how I already felt like I ate pretty good. I've always been athletic and working out. How the hell do I have these issues when I know some people with a different dynamic that don't?
Yeah.
And so I had to, right? And then being around Nate, he's super conscious about what he eats. I'm always trying to, like, I'm a gelato fan, right?
Fanatic.
Nate doesn't give in to, like, I used to, everywhere we'd go, I'd eat dessert. Like, right, I'd order all the desserts.
Always.
Now I'm not. I can't. And so he's been a big help for me to do that, and to get me to work out. He'll like force me, like, he won't take me to see a property until I get a workout, and I'm like, you mother.
He was at my house, fell asleep on the couch one day, trying to take a nap. I had to come out and work out with me.
Oh,
I was tired. But now that I wake up around 4, I'm not tired during the day.
It's amazing what having the proper diet, you know,
It
and
was
nutrition.
It was like a rocket boost, bro. I woke up that day and I remember telling Adam, like, bro, I could go all day.
Yeah.
I did hit a wall at like 7:30 where I was like, I feel like I'm going retarded. I can't seem to form a sentence. But then I realized I just hadn't eaten or drinking anything in a few hours.
Hydration.
As soon as I threw it in the belly, I was like, boom.
Yeah.
He's back,
I'm ready to go. So I'm excited to see, like,
awesome.
Today I slept in Saturday. And I was like, I feel tired. I feel like shit. I'm ready for Monday.
Yeah.
I want to wake up early again Monday, and I want to see everything that I can accomplish.
So you guys going to the gym together now, or?
We've gone and played pickleball together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer different kinds of workouts.
Which gym?
At Lifetime.
Lifetime? Okay.
I prefer different style workouts than what Steve really enjoys. I really enjoy the high intensity.
Yeah.
I think I should say something. We're not in a relationship, right?
Are you sure?
Nate and I are happily married. I just want to. It sounds like we're a couple here.
Dynamic duo.
You know,
right?
we just
You're gonna, yeah.
when you do a lot of, and I say that to say this, like that's a joke, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to understand when you get into business with people, it has to be the right people. The relationship is everything, and Nate and I spend a lot of time together, and we see each other under a lot of circumstances.
Yeah.
A lot of highs, a lot of lows. And we have fun through it all. And we know when the other person's having a bad day, stressed out, and we know how to combat that.
Yeah.
And it's just like I have other great business partners, right? The ones that have worked are because they're amazing men and women. I have women business partners as well. The ones that have it is because there's people that are greedy or they only care about themselves. They really don't fully care about the client and the relationship with their partner. And, you know, Nate and I have both had to bite our tongues when each other has a different opinion or wants to do something. I don't want to give a credit, and Nate's like, Steve, I'm giving the credit. We'll deal with it later. You know, or I feel away on a deal, and I'm like, Nate, I did this. And he's like, all right.
Well,
you know, but then we keep it rolling.
But
the thing is like no
it.
matter what happens, whatever the decision is, whatever the case may be, he knows and I know that each other are working for what's in, you know, the best interest of the deal or, you know, in our business, right?
Yeah.
We're not working to the detriment of whatever the case may be. I was in a 3-hour listing appointment a couple of weeks ago, and longest listing appointment of my career.
That's pretty long.
And I didn't get the listing, but that's, you know, a story for another day. But I get out, and Steve was like, "Hey, we bought this house for this price." While I had my phone was on airplane mode, I was not in on the negotiations. We had gone obviously to the property together, and it was a little bit different than what I would have wanted, but the outcome was totally okay. And Steve, I have full trust in anything that Steve is doing, and I think that's, you know, what helps keep our business, you know, rolling forward. That deal ended up being phenomenal. And, you know, props to him for being able to, you know, have the confidence in, you know, saying, yes, we'll do it at this price and not waiting for me, because we might have lost that deal if he was waiting for me.
Could you imagine being in a business relationship where you have to get permission and have to wait and you have no trust from your business partner?
Yeah.
Like it takes time to earn that. I wouldn't have done that early in our relationship.
Yeah.
But we've discussed it. Hey, if you need to pull the trigger, I got your back.
Yeah, always.
You guys will always figure it out.
You know, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if that's what you had to do, he understands why I did what I did when I did it. Right? Speed is of the utmost importance, and I don't fuck around.
Yeah. Steve does
especially
not
with
fuck
what you
around.
guys are doing. Like speed is the number one.
I offered on the one we bought prior, I offered the guy $400,000 10 minutes into meeting him and seeing the house for the first time. Said we'll pay you $400,000 and we'll close in 3 days.
Was that the video that you did? The reel?
Which one?
That was on the Hoarder House.
The Hoarder House.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Nate and I didn't even talk comps. He pulled up. I was like, hey, Nate, I got a deal.
Yeah.
Drive over here. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. I gave him like minimal information.
Yeah.
I'm already doing the logistics, right? And we're walking the house, and I just start going. I'm like, where do we need to be? What are you looking to do? How fast do you want to get out?
Yeah.
You know, Nate's like, hey, you could leave all this shit here, because they were trying to clean it up personally.
Oh.
Nate's like, leave all the shit.
Yeah.
Why don't we just write you a check today?
Yeah.
So I'm like, $400,000. And the guy's like, I look at Nate, and Nate's like, stone faced. And the guy's like, yeah, I think I can do that.
That's awesome.
You know, Nate sold it for $500,000 a week later.
Yeah,
so you just clean, and all you did was basically clear it out, right?
That's a good property.
Clear it out.
So,
did you do any renovation?
No, we did nothing. So we got the property. We go and we see the house, right? And like Steve said, I had very minimal information. I didn't know what I was walking into. I pulled up. There's weeds waist high. You know, the house is dilapidated. There's junk everywhere. I walk inside, and you know, we go through this negotiation. By we, I mean Steve and, you know, the other guy. And we lock in the deal at $400,000. We close escrow. We got our contract on a Tuesday. We closed escrow on a Friday, so that was a 3-day deal. And on Monday, we reopened escrow with new buyers to sell it at $500,000. And the agreement was that we would just remove the junk. So we removed the junk, and you know, we made a fair amount of money on that deal because Steve, you know, made the decision like that. There was another realtor involved, and had we waited and not made that decision at that time,
that house would have went on market.
I don't think we would have gotten that deal.
Yeah.
Nope.
The realtor actually tried pushing back on the seller because he had just signed a listing agreement, and tried not letting him sell us the house, especially not selling the house at that price.
Right.
What a lot of people won't realize or don't know is if a realtor brings us a deal, we have no problem with them representing us. Just because I'm, you know, an agent doesn't mean that I'm not going to let somebody else represent me.
It, yeah.
Right.
So it was like, hey, you can have both sides of the commission. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to get this deal done at this price. So luckily we were able to make that happen. And, you know, we went from buying it on Friday to selling it on Monday and closed escrow 3 weeks later, you know, and made a few dollars.
Bang, bang.
So,
But back to the partnership thing. That's why we're a great duo.
Yeah.
It's the trust and the support. And even if we make a mistake, like, we're not going to hold it over each other's head. We're going to try to find a solution and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so the biggest piece of advice I can give for people in business, if you're going to get in a partnership, is choose that person wisely. And I always recommend having a business partner. Like, don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Get a partner, but get somebody that is an asset to you, that levels you up just by them being around you.
Yep.
Right? He brings a side that I don't have, and a different way of thinking, you know? So that's the best piece I can give people for, you know, getting into business.
I think it's really important to note that before Steve and I, you know, formed this partnership, I had never had a partner for any real length of time. I had partnered on like a flip here or a flip there, but I just didn't like the way that those partnerships, you know, ended up. And so I typically would do everything solo, right? So it was really a learning process for me in the very beginning. I was telling Steve, I'm like, yeah, we made $100,000. We split that profit. I'm used to making that $100,000, right?
Himself.
Like myself.
Right.
And now I'm splitting it
Yeah.
with somebody. And so it took a little bit of an adjustment for me to be like, okay, that's fine. But I have knowledge in his head that I can pull out and extract that I never would have had.
Yeah.
Steve inspires me in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise been inspired. I was talking to somebody via text the other day, and he was like, it seems like you push Steve in certain ways, and Steve pushes you in certain ways, and together you guys, you know, are very, like you said, dynamic, and you guys are moving forward. And I think, you know, the trust that we've been able to develop, and everything that's came along with that, is really productive. And, you know,
I think people see it too, like that follow us.
Yeah.
You know, they know we're not jerk offs. They know that we, you know, have a moral compass.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do right by the people.
Yeah.
Like even the people selling the house, the agent, like Nate said, you know, however we need to help you make this deal so you don't lose out, we'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, people see that, right? And we
You
do
guys
deals
aren't-
with them.
You guys aren't like super flashy and like show offs. Like,
Right.
you're not that kind of
we try not. I
style.
definitely try not to.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah.
Like it's hard because I drive a Ferrari. It's hard. People are like, "Oh, you're showing
mean-
off." It's like, bro, this is just how I live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's just
trying
your
to show it
lifestyle.
off. I
Yeah.
just,
There's
know,
going to be judgmental people.
I don't show
everywhere,
going
right?
to the bar. I don't show all these other shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't do anything really other than work and hang out with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Literally.
It's not like
And a
you're
lot
just-
of it is combined.
Yeah.
My whole family was at my office yesterday. My parents, my brother, his family, my family,
It's awesome.
uncles working. Like, it's a family affair,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So that's just all I do. So when it's like, when we show the things or we're traveling or we're buying nice things, it's not like zero of it is to show off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope people always.
If anything, I do things and I post things to hopefully inspire people.
Motivate, yeah.
Right? And motivate people and let them know that, hey, anybody can do this. There's nothing special about me or Steve that is different than what you can do if you set your mind to something. You know, I grew up poor as shit, right? I have a mom that raised me a single income family. There's a lot of, limiting beliefs that people put on themselves based on whatever, they've experienced. So when we're doing things, it's not to be flashy. If anything, I'm trying to inspire somebody to take that next step and actually elevate themselves.
When we posted a reel, and Nate tagged me in one today showing a deal that we closed and his check, like the check that we got. And I'm like, initially, my old way of thinking was like, damn, people are just going to take that as bragging.
Yep.
The new way of thinking is like, this isn't to boast, but I want to show you what you can do because you have the doubts that you can't do it because of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Let me show you what you can do and prove you wrong of the doubts that you have so you can go do it. And we'd love to help you do a deal.
100%.
Right? And so if he doesn't show that Instagram story of that check, he doesn't have any credibility, right? So he's got to take the risk of looking like he's bragging, but he's really like, his thing was like, I didn't use any of my own money. I did this, this, and this, and look what I made.
Yep.
You can do it too.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just that. And then you get the haters like,
There's always,
cool, bro. You make a bunch of money. Cool. You're big Mr. Money
What
Guy.
What are you, Mr. Money Guy? I've had people say that to me. And it's like, you're not the people,
but that's
the audience that I'm searching for.
Those people are just sitting back, just watching, judging. Like that's not that's not the people
we
that
want
to
show the
around.
people that want to go for it, that are looking for a break, that will put in the work, just haven't been around the right people or given the opportunity. Right? We both came from no money.
Yeah.
Right? Like I wasn't given anything that I have.
Yep.
I literally had to go work and learn and go into debt and reload and win and lose and build and
Well, that's what I hate.
It.
Like even people that I was in film school with, they'll come to me and be like, "Oh, dude, you're so lucky. Like you got an office and everything." I'm like, "Bro,
the harder I work,
Matt
the
just
luckier I
puts in the work, bro."
Dude, I've just been working, man. It's not luck at all. I mean, there is, there's obviously good things that happen,
Timing.
and
but fortune favors you. You went for it.
Yeah.
Right. You get that momentum from doing the right things and for working, and the universe rewards you.
100%.
It's that momentum and that energy.
Yep.
Manifestation is real.
It is
100%.
Yeah.
I believe in manifestation, and I've seen you manifest. This space. I've seen you grow. I know Steve knew you before I knew you.
Yeah.
And you've grown, immensely over the last few years. Just since I've been a part of it. So, there's always going to be haters.
Yep.
There's always going to be somebody that has something negative to say to you, and that's okay. Because if I was doing jack shit with my life, there would be haters that are hating on me for doing jack shit. Right? I would rather be posting,
successful.
checks that I got hoping to inspire somebody and have haters for that.
Yep.
Because I don't mind that at all.
Yep.
So
what are your guys' goals going into the end of the year and next year?
The end of the year? What did I say last night?
Well, go ahead.
I was texting Steve. Was that last night or this morning? Whatever it was. I said, hey, we need to get 10 more houses before the end of the year.
Damn.
So that's my goal. 10 more houses.
What do you think?
And it's funny because when Nate and I started flipping together, we didn't know what the relationship was going to be.
Right.
And I was like, hey, if we can just make $100,000 messing around together, that'd be great. Well, we blew that away super fast.
Yeah.
Now we have a $1 million flipping company that we are doing our part-time that we didn't mean to build.
Yeah.
It just is happening.
Yeah.
We have some personal goals that we're trying to accomplish and some family goals. Business goals we're trying to, I would suspect that Nate and I own at least 2 commercial properties or 2 more companies by the end of the year.
Damn.
We've got a lot of things we've been working on, and a goal of mine that I've shared with Nate that I'm trying to help him with as well is I want to add revenue streams to my portfolio every year.
Yeah.
Right. And not just like side hustle stuff. I'm talking companies.
Yeah.
like big companies, fully staffed. I want to own the building that they're in.
Yep.
I want, I want as many paychecks every week as I can get. And
Gelato shop.
And I want those businesses paying off my building. What'd you say?
Gelato shop. You gonna own one?
I think I'm just gonna get a machine in my company break room.
He's on a strict diet. We are not encouraging him to do that.
Hey,
It's got to be the sugar-free, no dairy. It's hard, but no, some of the big goals that we have right now is, I think, in the businesses that we're trying to acquire. We've got some good opportunities that are in front of us that will allow us more freedom and more cash flow to do bigger deals.
Yeah.
Right, and so a lot of the flips that we've done, 250,000 to 500,000. I want to start flipping
More
bigger deals.
Yeah.
Right. I want to make 500 grand on a deal, not 50 grand.
Yeah.
And we have the expertise to do it.
Yeah.
We're just in an area where that's not that profound.
I remember Shelby told me about a building down in the Bay. He bought it for like 400 grand or something. And he flipped it, renovated it, flipped it. I think he sold it for like 1.5 million.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I like that.
The opportunities are there,
Wild.
and that's why when you asked, where we are geographically, that's why the borders of the United States is now kind of our playground.
Yeah.
Because we're developing networks and we have people that are kind of in different markets and they're sending us stuff every single day.
Yep.
It's a little overwhelming at times when I still have other things to do to be like, oh my gosh, look at all these deals that are
There's
falling.
a trailer park in New Jersey.
For real.
The owner's willing to carry. There's 393
It's
spots.
really-
like that's a deal that just came up.
It's like, man, we got to get on a plane and go look at this. Like, I really want this deal.
Yeah.
So,
I can't go to bed. When that's sent to me at 10 o'clock at night, I can't go to sleep.
It's tough.
No,
like,
yeah.
the laptop's coming open. I'm calling Nate.
You're like, you
I've
want to get on a
never
flight right
had
now? Like,
We're willing to.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I've never had so many phone calls at like 9:30 or 10 p.m. where I've had to get up out of bed to go outside and take the call because Steve's like, dude, did you see this? Or, hey, what about this? My wife's used to it now, but like in the beginning, she's like, why the fuck does this guy call you every night at 9:30, 10 o'clock,
Well,
11
when my kids
o'clock?
are asleep,
Yeah.
I try to get more hours in.
Yeah.
That's why I wake
Yeah.
up early.
I go back to work.
Yeah.
But now,
Yep.
I'm kind of going to bed when the kids go to bed because I'm waking up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But, I built companies from 9 p.m. to 12. Working at that night shift, I built the 1 hour work week working the night shift.
Yep.
So,
That's awesome.
So we've got some big goals.
Yeah.
And when we say 2 and this and that, it's probably going to end up being 10x.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, because as entrepreneurs, we never think big enough, right? That's just how we are. We think we're thinking big. I thought, Nate, if we can make 100 grand a piece and just flip some things while we're doing other stuff, great. Well, we're well over.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of year left.
Yeah, there is.
And there's
Yep.
way more deals in front of us than when we started this year. So next year is going to be insane.
Your guys' email is going to be like 10,000.
I had to create a new email account because it was all coming into my real
into
estate.
yours? Yeah, you're like, I can't do
and
this.
I have to be able to kind of filter through it
Yeah.
and differentiate, who's a client and who's going to be, an investment deal.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So just to wrap it up, we're all going to a mastermind dinner tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did that start? And what does that kind of entail?
So the biggest thing you'll learn from me is I move fast and I don't give you much heads up, right?
That's an understatement.
Because
also.
opportunity
I think you
doesn't
posted
wait.
it yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's happening today.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Opportunity does not wait. Success likes speed. Pay attention. You have to be willing to make a quick decision for a big opportunity and go for it. And so that's why I do it. If I gave people 2-week notices, that's for people who are just cool with a 9 to 5 and it's steady and I can plan it and I can work it out. I want to be around people that inspire me. And I don't want to, how do I say this? If I invite you to the table for dinner, you need to be bringing something to the table, right? I don't want anyone to come to the table that doesn't have anything to bring,
Yep.
right? If you're just coming to get information and you need to step into that group, this isn't for you yet. You need to come to a different event. And that's why I started charging for the dinners, because the people that are there that are willing to pay, they want massive value and they want those connections. Like I know the people you're going to meet tonight, just with what you do, with how great you are in your business, you're going to make contacts and you're going to make money.
Yeah.
And it's going to grow to bigger things. And so short notice, got to charge and limit it because I want people to be able to interact and talk and exchange information.
Yep.
And so Nate and I are putting together a plan of, we've got our amazing Airbnb property that's going to be ready at the end of the month. We're going to host a big event out there.
Oh, nice.
And then we're planning, which hasn't even been released yet, we're planning a big event just like Oceanside.
Okay.
Where we're going to have people coming
All right.
from all over because
Yeah.
we have partners and friends and people now that want to connect from all over the United States,
Oh, yeah.
even outside the United States,
Yeah.
honestly, right now.
That's huge.
So, creating more events and doing that are something that we want to do. But tonight all piggybacks off of my assistant encouraged me to do a golf mastermind where I have a limited amount of spots. People pay X amount of dollars, and they can play with me, ask questions. We'll work on their business and network.
Yeah.
We sold that out. I posted it like one night. By the time we woke up in the morning, it was sold with waiting list.
Wow.
And so I was like, damn.
You got to do, because I saw on your calendar you're doing it, like every week?
We're trying to do it every week.
What, a Wednesday?
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Nice.
Every Wednesday, people can pay $1,000 and they can come golf. And it's lunch, golf, dinner, 3 other people. And that's where I got my leap. When I paid Ryan $5,000,
Yeah.
I saw the impact it made for me. Mm-hmm. And I want to give that to people, but you have to charge. I can't do it for free. You won't get the right people.
Yep.
Right.
Right? And if it's a person that reaches out that is the right person that's just in a bad spot that doesn't have the money, like, I'll probably let them do it for free.
Right.
Right? Because it's about what you're bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people can pay $1,000. They understand the massive value because they're going to get information and connections that I don't just give out.
Yep.
Right? So it includes dinner. So we got 3 people. One's flying in from Idaho. Nate, super awesome guy. We've got golf which we probably got to leave. We got golf at 1:30, and then we got dinner at 7. It was only going to be a couple people, just a small group.
Yep.
And I was like, Nate, let's open it up. Let's go 10. Let's get a full group of just amazing people in a room together, because I just know what it brings. And I don't know if you went to our event last year at Navigate.
No, he didn't.
I didn't. Mm-mm.
So tomorrow marks 1 year from the first spontaneous event I did with Nate.
Oh, nice.
Which is crazy. He
That's
texted me
awesome.
last week. He was like, hey, the 10th is 1 year from when we held our first event.
Damn.
And
That's
so
cool.
I was like, the people the things that happened in there made everyone in their money. Like, if you were actually taking action, you had a great ROI. It was free. I paid for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Damn.
But I learned from Ryan. He was like, dude, you have to charge. People have to have a buy-in so that they're serious and they're not wasting your time.
Yep.
That the information you give them, they're going to go act on and they're going to do better, because that in return betters you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get people that are like, bro, I got to pay to play golf with you. And I'm like, yeah. And you'll understand why. Like, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
And I'd love to show you why,
Yep.
and this is cheap. Like, Adam's always telling me, he's like, bro, like, we do coaching calls all the time. It's $500 an hour. Golf's $1,000. You get me for the whole day.
Yeah. I mean, think
Right?
about
The
that value.
value's insane.
Yeah.
Right? The value's insane. And it's going to book up. We had one spot open, like a guy bailed out. I posted it. We had like 7 more people instantly, like, hey, I'm ready to go. Send me the invoice. I'll pay. It was like that.
Nice.
Right? And so you want more of those people around you that are bringing stuff to the table. Like, and I know you're coming.
Yep.
I was so stoked to hear that, because you're eager and you want to be successful. You're already successful, but you want the next level.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you want to be around people that might have that one thought or that one habit or that one connection.
It's one thing. Yeah.
And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight will be that. There's going to be somebody at the dinner whose life changes from a conversation.
I can't wait.
And people don't understand that. They're
It
like,
excites me.
I think it's so underestimated, really.
It is.
You know, like, you're one of the few people that consistently comment on our stuff or consistently send me a DM. I have like, maybe 10 or 15 people that are always kind of hitting on all of our stuff. And so when we posted that last night, I was like, I have to send this to Matt to make sure that he sees that there is an opportunity to get into that room, because that room is full of people that are going to change your life one way or another. Whether it's something they say tonight or a relationship that you develop tonight, that turns into more down the road, it's going to change. So I had to send that to you. I was really excited when you were like, hey, I'm in.
Yeah.
Count me in right now.
Yeah.
Chris is coming. So he came to last. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
He was like, damn, I need to check Instagram more.
Yeah.
I'm in, whatever it costs.
Yeah.
Right?
There was another person today that was like, damn, I wish I seen that yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's why we're talking about doing more events, probably, at least a monthly, or quarterly event. We're having a big one like we did in Oceanside. We're going to start planning that because there's massive value. I paid $1,000 to go to Oceanside, and that changed the trajectory of my future based on the relationships that I was, able to form.
Yeah.
Obviously my partnership with Steve really
Huge.
Started on that day.
I mean,
like
it's
millions of dollars to be made because of
great
that.
return.
$1,000. That ROI is pretty high. And if you have, like Steve said, if you have the right mindset, you're going to get yourself in those rooms, and you're going to see the value in whatever the cost is.
Yeah.
So tonight's gonna be fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I'm excited. There's people at all different points of their life too. Of different
I'm probably on the younger side.
I mean,
yeah.
Of most
probably.
of them.
Yeah. But you have
Which
a
is-
successful business. A lot of people your age do not.
Yeah.
You have a brand. You have, your Google reviews are amazing. How many 5 stars do you have now?
Like 85 probably.
And you have
Close.
it's just 5 stars, right? Do you have any other?
I have like two 1 stars of people that I didn't even work with.
Yeah. So I don't even count those.
That's
Yeah.
the worst.
I don't even count those.
Yeah.
So you have something, right?
Yeah.
You have something, and you have the vision, and you go for it. You rented out another building to go for a vision that you had.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the tenacity or the balls to do it.
I would. Yeah. I mean, so many of my friends were like, dude, I don't know if you should do it. I don't know.
Those
It's a
are-
risk.
That's
it
when
is a
you
risk.
know to do it.
It's
Yeah.
a risk. I'm like, I can't. I'm
You
gonna
want
have
the-
more regret not doing it.
You want the
100%.
people around you that are not doing things that inspire you, that
Yeah.
are just normal friends and family, whatever. Yeah. You want them to be like, I don't know, that sounds bad. That's when it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they're not willing to go for it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be where they're at.
Right.
But the people that are where you want to be, if you called us, I would have said, bro, let's get this and the next suite. Right?
Yep.
Amazing
Didn't
idea.
I say I wanted to give you some money and invest? I'm like,
think you did,
hey, bro.
yeah. I think you did,
I mean,
how
because,
yeah.
how do I get in on that?
Yeah.
Right? Because when I see somebody doing something that I think is going to be successful, why wouldn't I want to, be part of that?
Right.
Right? Because I'm going to believe in you. And if you believe in you and I believe in you, we're going to go to the moon.
Yep.
Right?
It doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It's that easy. But
Yeah.
it's the conversations around the right people. And that's why I said what I said, because that's why tonight is so impactful.
Yep.
The people there, you can pitch ideas and thoughts, and they're not going to be like, oh, I don't know, man. How much is the rent?
Yeah.
Oh, 800?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They're gonna be thinking about strategy, like,
Yeah.
what about if you do this, or what?
Yes.
Have you thought about this?
Implementation.
Yeah.
How fast can we become profitable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? We're building out my studio right now. I'm $50,000 deep.
Yep.
I didn't ask anybody what they thought.
Yeah.
I know the ROI.
Yep.
I just said, buy everything you need.
Yeah.
I told my assistant, get everything we need.
Yep.
I told my wife and my work wife, here's my credit card. Get all the furnishing. No budget. Make it look amazing.
Yep.
And it does. It
Yeah.
looks amazing.
You got those like wood
Panels.
like, wood
Yeah,
strip
on
panels.
one of the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
I bought a
that's gonna-
$5,000
that's gonna look
whiteboard that
so
goes on
clean.
it.
Oh.
So
It's
it's
gonna
like
be legit.
halfway there, and I'm already just, yes, I'm in 50,000. I'm not 1 second guessing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I remember, Ryan Pineda spent $100,000 on a virtual wall. He's like $200,000 into this, area to do events in his office. He made his money back in the first day he opened.
What?
Could you imagine asking people, What do you think? Do you think spending $200,000 on this is a good idea?
Oh,
How many people are going to say yes?
You can't talk to normal
Very-
people
yeah.
about big dreams.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to be down there with them,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'd rather lose $50,000 on my studio
Then never try.
than listen to someone else and be
Exactly.
thinking, should I have done that?
That's what it. Yeah.
Bro, I'm willing to lose it all, and that's what makes me tough to beat.
That's the same way.
I think one thing that Steve said that has resonated with me, he said it a long time ago, was I'm closer to the floor. If I were to lose everything, I'm closer to the floor than I am where I'm going. So if I were to not succeed, that's fine. I've learned.
Yeah.
Because I'm only here and I'm going here.
Right.
You know. So the people that
Just a trampoline down.
100%.
I'm not losing. I have zero fear of losing.
Yeah.
Literally doesn't. I never worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's not being cocky or clueless or careless. I just know I can crush whatever I do.
Yeah.
Because I work harder than everyone. Period. If I have to, I told my assistant yesterday, you're gonna break first.
And actually, I was there for that conversation, and it was quite interesting to see the interaction because Adam said, "Well, I don't break."
Oh.
Yeah. The problem is I got years doing it. I got years doing it.
Yeah. The experience.
You know, I'll sleep there. I'll fucking put him to sleep, keep working, and then I'll wake him up and still be working. You know? So I don't say that Adam's amazing. I have the best assistant in the game, right? It's not even close. I post that all the time. The dude's a dog. And you're gonna see. You'll see. Adam's gonna be rewarded.
Yeah.
You know, Adam's is gonna be very successful because he wants it.
Yep.
He literally came to work for me and said, "I will work for free. Like, I just want to be around you. I want to learn from you." He just got a college degree and is in debt with college. Like, had to pay to go to college, a really nice university.
Yeah.
Got into debt and was like, "I'm willing to work for you for free." So he did.
Sick.
But not long. My staff made me pay him. but
That's
Did Rachel say something?
yeah, you know, you should probably pay Adam. He's showing up every day. He's doing a good job.
But that's the difference between, you know, somebody who has that mindset that knows that there's value in whatever it is, whether it's a dinner or a mastermind event, or working just to be around people. Being around the right people is going to elevate you to get you to the next step. So Adam knew taking that risk was going to pay off, you know, 10, 20, 100x, right? And so that's where, you know, coming to dinner tonight is going to be, you know, if you don't 10x your money tonight, you know, then you weren't talking to the right people. You know, you weren't paying attention because
you were asleep.
You weren't paying attention. So I'm looking forward to having you and just seeing, you know, all the conversations that we're gonna have tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for believing in us too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and knowing that we're people you want to be around and the support that you've always given.
Yeah.
And for having us here today. You have an amazing studio to record in.
Thank you.
You're doing a lot of awesome things. I know that, and this is my favorite story that I'll end with for you is I remember when you were working for me. When I hired him, I was actually on a flight back from Hawaii and I had the worst turbulence ever, bro. I was tripping. No. I got 3, you know, little babies and I'm like, I'm going to text Matt. And so I'm on like Facebook Messenger and I'm trying to convince him to come work for me for a lot less than he's worth because I couldn't pay him.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't afford you.
Yeah.
But I think I have an opportunity for you that will help you. And I somehow convinced him to come work for me. And then we got to a point where I was like, I need to fire you. I am holding you back. Like, you are going to do amazing things. Whatever time you're spending here is not worth it for you. You're ready. Like, go be amazing and go do what you do. And it was so tough because like he was changing the face of our company. You know, I've tried to hire other social media guys to do our page. They haven't touched his work. I model what I try to have them be over what Matt did working for us.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because like even from then, I feel like my work has expanded so much just from that time too.
Right.
I'm like, dude.
But you did what you said. He drove his own vehicle to all of our job sites. He got along with the people, the office. Like, he was professional. It was like, man, you know, it's just like Adam, an amazing piece to have at a young age. How old were you?
Well, I'm 25 now, so it was 22.
Young. Adam, how old are you?
23.
Adam started when he was 22.
Yeah.
So I remember, and Rachel was like, maybe we should keep Matt, this was during COVID too.
Yeah.
This was during COVID.
There's a lot of changes.
And I was like, I'm holding this kid back. I will regret this because I know he's going to be great. If I keep him employed here and try to get him full time, because that was the push. It's like, hey, Matt, you're killing it part time. Let's try to go full time.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? I need to just let him go. Like, he needs to go do his thing. And I want to be a piece that I know of, like, possibly helped him go.
No,
100%.
yeah. Working with you and Shelby, I started working with both of you guys like simultaneously. And then when I think I stopped working with you guys pretty much around the same time too.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because then I actually grew after that.
Right.
So I think you guys were a great stepping stone. It was great working with you guys.
Boom.
Yeah.
We still use some of his content. Like he did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And I know people that are there tonight are gonna want what you have.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks for coming,
Matt,
guys.
for having us here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Excited for the next one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We'll have to have you up to ours now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really ask you some questions.
Yep.
You got to listen to us banter.
Yep. All right, guys.
Cool.
Signing off.
Thanks, Matt.